Good evening. This is Maestro with the Dawn of War 2 Retribution Elite Modcast. Today, we have a 2v2. How quaint. Don't get one of those that often these days. On Calderis Refinery, our first player, this is going to be Skysilver right here, playing as the Techmarine. Space Marine ranged hero with a gun for every occasion and the ability to repair vehicles. His teammate is going to be Bloodrain, playing as the Warlock. Melee hero for the Eldar, can become a spellcaster or a melee tank depending on his war gear. Their opponents, we're going to begin with Bruce Campbell. Oh man, this guy is always fun. Playing as the Sindri, Trollface, Chaos Sorcerer, spellcasting and battlefield manipulation hero for Chaos. And finally, it's going to be Cry, playing as the Hive Tyrant. No, wait, he's playing as the Warboss. This is a tanky melee hero that can walk through cover but can be suppressed, very aggressive with health regeneration and burst movement. Yeah, don't always see Cry's not Tyranid heroes or races, so this will be interesting. And we got a little bit of a shorter game here than many of the replays that are normally cast, but it is a high-level replay. Good players right here. And it's a 2v2. Man, you don't see a lot of those that often these days, for whatever reason. I'm actually not sure why. I suppose if I really wanted to, I could go to the Elite ladder and look at the log and actually pick up some 2v2 replays, but not as many are submitted compared to 1v1 replays. And then replay submissions from email tend to either be 1v1 or 3v3. 2v2 is almost like a lost art. But I think among high-level players, if they want to play a team game, they would prefer to play a 2v2 over a 3v3. Anyway, Warboss is going to approach the Guardians. Guardians not really going to be able to kite this. There's just too much coming at them. So they're going to, well, they'll kite in the sense that they will move back, and because of their passively higher movement speed, they are kind of getting away, but the Warboss is just peppering them down with that shooter that he starts with, even does manage to tag a model with his chain axe, and they're going to start working on the generator. However, a turret is being put here. It will protect this generator farm, but will not be able to protect this one. Slug is just going to work on that. Will they be able to finish off the node before they lose any models? Probably not. High-powered shot from the Techmarine goes out. No, not high-powered shot. What? I could have sworn I had seen a suppression effect. I don't know. Maybe I was just imagining things. In any case, model does go down on the Sluggers, and they are getting out of there. My mind is just playing tricks on me. Meanwhile, talking about playing tricks, this Sorcerer is going to be teleporting around. It does manage to get a decap on one of the natural requisition points. Will force it to remature. Does he even take this back? No. He doesn't decide to get the full capture. Probably would just take a lot of damage from the Techmarine as well as the Guardians if they wanted to have a say in that. And he decides to keep the Sorcerer on the field. We're going to see a consume from the Sorcerer, restoring his energy, as well as a Sword of Flame. So this could be an aggressive Sorcerer build. Pretty strong against things like Guardian weapon teams, but does still have to be a little cautious about the Banshees. He's going right into both. However, he does not manage to tie up the Guardian weapon team before it does get a little suppression on the Heretics. That slows them down, but enough damage is being put on the Guardian weapon team that it has gotten out of there. Apparently the Howling Banshee's under a lot of threat too. We're not able to successfully really counter-engage against the Sorcerer, although I did see the Sorcerer got a special attack. Could this be a tactical Marine squad going down? That would be huge. Heretics are chasing after, but oh my god, it's so close. 14 hit points. One more swing and they would have completed the kill. That is huge for Skysilver to be able to keep that tactical Marine squad.
Adding support structure.
At the same time, it still does hurt that he did lose 2 of the 3 models. So our red team are going to take control of the contested victory point. They've got the victory point lead, currently unanswered. And we do have triple shooters out of Cry. This is a lot of DACA. All 3 of them have their big shooters. Between triple shooters, it's going to be very hard for the Warlock to really approach. And right now it does feel like the red team is winning rather handily. My god, this retreat path for the Guardians nearly results in them losing the entire squad, but luckily for them, the lead model was pretty far away. Techmarine trying to plant the proximity mines, I believe. Heretics getting dangerously close to dying, but certainly a much more expendable squad, and in fact, they will go down. Luckily, they are, as I said, a more expendable squad than, say, something like Tactical Marines, and that squad loss is not going to hurt as much as, again, say, like a TAC loss. Still, would rather keep them alive than not. Bunched up Shudas actually do manage to overwhelm the Guardian weapon team before it is able to suppress. Wah effect probably coming into play there. And we've got Raptors out of Bruce Campbell. If you've seen certainly some of my previous casts, you've definitely seen that I've made some comments about Raptors, about how they can be a little risky, most expensive, the most troublesome when it comes to transitioning into Tier 2. But, of course, that effect is mitigated somewhat in team games where you can rely on your teammate a little bit to help with the anti-vehicle counters. Techmarine nearly going down, but all the health and health regeneration he got from that Artificer armor is going to help keep him up. Ooh, Tactical Marines once again getting dangerously close again. Skysilver very much playing a dangerous game here, and this game is it's actually looking pretty strongly in favor of the red team. The blue team struggling to fight back in this, and you know, I did say that these are high level players, and I will stick to that. I do think Skysilver is someone who, as far as he goes as a player, he is definitely good in the sense that he can play alongside other high-level players and hold his own. But he, I would say, is the least versatile among these players. He's mainly just known for his Techmarine play. He does not really play many other heroes as far as I know, probably most of the other Space Marine heroes. And even within his wheelhouse of the Techmarine, he tends to go for things that I do feel... You know, I would say it's even part of why the blue team is at a disadvantage, that he did go for this really short build. One of those shooter squads just got wiped by the P-Dev. But yeah, Skysilver tends to go for these builds that are honestly a little bit questionable. I think he, as well as his team, are paying for it a little bit. He's probably looking to make that back up later in the game when he does finally get some vehicles out. Meanwhile, the Sorcerer doing some work, trying to equalize the pressure, being put on... Ooh, what is that? Is that a summoning circle? No. Anyway, Sorcerer is finally does have to go here. So eventually we're going to have to see some kind of vehicle out of Skysilver. I think Skysilver has been a little bit of the weak link in this game so far. And he like, where is his resources even gone? They've gone into the Techmarine. So he's really lacking field presence by not having out additional units. He invested so hard into the Techmarine. He's even gone for a melee Techmarine. So now he's not even going to be contributing passive damage in range combat. I guess he could be looking to counter-initiate against the Raptors. That's really the best thing he could do at the moment. Okay, Techmarine is moving forward. Can also contribute repairs to the Falcon as needed. But for now, he'll look to pick up the victory point, which has been evened out at 1-1, but a significant lead for the red team. This war truck is getting a little far from home here, being chased down by the Falcon. No actual anti-vehicle response against this Falcon at the moment. We'll probably see Cry pick up some tank busters at some point. Raptor's going to jump in here. Where were they jumping in from? They came from behind all the way in the Space Marine base. Really making it hard for Skysilver to get out of his base, and Skysilver even lost one of his scouts. So looking like a pretty rough game for him. In fact, going straight to Tier 3. Yeah, this is, I mean, it's pretty greedy. It'll certainly surprise Bruce Campbell and Cry when, you know, he suddenly has something like a Predator or a Venerable Dreadnought out, but it's definitely a greedy play. This is definitely not like textbook Space Marine play. I would even be tempted to say it might not necessarily be a good idea. But let's see if this Sorcerer here can also pick off one of the Stern Guard models. Yeah, and going for an extremely short build and rushing to Tier 3 is definitely a team game only kind of thing. If you get away with it in a 1v1 game, it means you just outplayed your opponent so hard anyway that you probably would have won even if you didn't rush to Tier 3. Blood Crusher's moving around, steps on a proximity mine. That is actually rather troublesome for the Blood Crusher. I haven't seen the Blood Crusher get a whole lot of value itself yet. But, I mean, overall the red team is winning a lot anyway, so who cares? Falcon has been moving around. Feel like the vehicle play from both sides has been pretty passive. Aside from that time we did see the vehicle chasing around the war truck. Wow. Actually, a lot of people going in Tier 3. Bruce Campbell will stick around in Tier 2, gets the Plague Marines. I do find a little unfortunate that he, of all people, is forced into a Plague Marine purchase or that kind of anti-vehicle purchase. Kind of expensive for what it is, and more of a deterrent than a hard anti-vehicle counter. Shooter Boy is going to move in. They do have big shooters as well as the shooter knob at this point, and we're probably going to see a full generator bash on this power farm. Meanwhile, Slug is going to come out. Did they come? I don't know where they came from, but they are here against the Techmarine. Techmarine here does not win this fight. There's too many things. The Blood Crusher by itself is something the Techmarine just can't deal with. And this war truck has really just been rolling around with the reinforced plating. Been kind of a duel against this Falcon that the war truck doesn't actually do anything to. But man, the Falcon actually under some amount of pressure. The Blood Crusher is chasing it. There is no kind of snare against the Blood Crusher to really slow it down. If there was, actually it could be at risk for going down. Guardians are going to go down for Bloodrain right here. The red team still choking things out. 499 victory points to 250. So finally, here comes the Predator. We could say that this could look like a little bit of an outclassing, but I think part of what's also happening here is, honestly, in my opinion, the greedy play out of Skysilver. Barely getting anything in Tier 1, only getting Stern Guard veterans in Tier 2, more of an upgrade at that point since he already had the tax, which he nearly lost many times, and then rush in Tier 3 to get the Predator. Now at this time, the Predator is definitely not hard countered. Really, only the Plague Marines can even say anything about it. But so many victory points just given up in all this time of Skysilver not even having an army. Now can they... And at the end of the day, like, do they really even does he really even have a tech lead? We've got Cry getting a battle wagon out. Ooh, this should be the Predator taking out the war truck, though. Just needs one more shot. It's not going to get out of range, and there it is. So the war truck is taken down. All things considered, I don't even see that as necessarily even a big win for the blue team at this time. It's about to be replaced with a bigger or better transport, the Orc battle wagon. VP's evened out, though, 166 to 499. What are Skysilver and Bloodrain going to do about this? So the Predator is out on the field. Predator going pretty far forward. Without any support as well. No Techmarine, which would be the only real source of support. Guardians from Bloodrain are actually in the transport, so technically they could get out and repair both the Falcon as well as the Predator. They would actually prioritize repairing the Predator because the Falcon does have its energy shield, so it's not going to lose vehicle hit points immediately. It'll lose the energy shield first. Sorcerer, where is he going? Oh no, that was a bit of a feed there. Yeah, that was never a good idea.
The enemy is claiming a victory point.
I don't know if he just didn't have vision and didn't think there was this much. I mean, he at least saw the vehicles and the Guardians. The only thing that he might not have seen was the Stern Guard veterans, but at the same time, that was what it looked like he was trying to tie up. Oh boy. Anyway, Sorcerer, or Bruce Campbell, will be going to Tier 3. Here it is, the Death Roller, the battle wagon, moving around. Can transport those orcs quite a bit tankier than the war truck. So it's going to move forward, and eventually I expect we'll probably see a las cannon upgrade on the Predator. I feel like kind of necessary against the orc battle wagon. But with the looks of what Skysilver's doing with his resources, my guess is he wants to put out a second Predator. Could also get Terminators. Could also get a Venerable Dreadnought. I would say I think the second Predator, personally, I think would probably be the best idea. Which is also might be why he's not upgrading to the las cannon on his existing Predator. Wanting to save resources. Warlock being a little annoying, getting with the Warp Throw. Also going to be upgrading to Providence. We'll give him temporary invulnerability as well as cooldown reduction and energy regeneration. Fire Prism also now out for Bloodrain. They've got to make some... They still kind of have to make something happen quick, though. Knobs are going to be out for Cry. Knobs are an interesting choice. Knobs are actually somewhat countered by a Fire Prism. But the Battle Wagon also might be able to deliver the knobs into range of the Fire Prism. Meanwhile, what is... Don't tell me. Don't tell me that Bloodrain, or rather that Skysilver is going to look for a Land Raider. That would probably be extra greedy at this point. To be fair, he didn't actually have the resources to actually buy a Predator. Oh, he went for the las cannon. So he is going to... Terminators. So he will actually decide on Terminators. Okay. No, that's a Dread. Okay, so he is going to get the Dread. Yeah, I mean, the Dreadnought, I think just because it's a Techmarine, it makes more sense than a Terminator purchase most times. I think there was a squad that was wiped there. The Dreadnought, though, is actually under a lot of threat. I mean, there are knobs here. Looks like the Venerable Dreadnought already has Emperor's Fist on cooldown. Man, I think I'm going to take back what I said about the Venerable Dreadnought real soon. This Venerable Dreadnought is going down. My God, that is... It's got 6 hit points. Oh, my God. Okay, finally. One last missile connects from the Plague Marine. That's the end of the Venerable Dread. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. That is pretty unfortunate. Meanwhile, the Predator is chasing after the Battle Wagon. Has it down to half health. Predator itself, though, not really in the clear yet. Plague Marines were also threatening the Predator. The Battle Wagon does also do damage back to the Predator.
The enemy is capturing one of our victory points.
All right, well, it's actually a double cap for the blue team at the moment. Still, that loss of the Venerable kind of hurt my soul. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Bruce Campbell nearly loses his Predator to a missile launcher turret that I imagine he didn't even know was there, or maybe he forgot about it, or didn't realize it was a missile launcher. Las Cannon going to be upgraded on the Chaos Predator. Now, luckily for him, now that he knows it's a missile launcher, it's actually pretty easy to kill it. Yeah, he'll just walk the Plague Marines up. They don't have to fear the missile launcher turret very much at all. They take minimal damage, and they will finish off with 1 or 2 more missiles. 2 more. So Bloodrain and Skysilver holding on in this late game for the moment. Tank Bust is finally coming out for Cry. Felt like they could have come out earlier. Revive will happen on the Warlock, so he's back in the fight. At this point, he's got Providence, he's got Warp Throw. Bloodrain, or rather, yeah, Bloodrain also has so many units that I feel like he might as well go for an upgraded weapon. Typically, with this setup, you're going for the Witchblade of Kurnos, because you get the cooldown reduction that comes with Providence on the Ethereal Slash. Greatly reduces ability cooldowns by 10%. It doesn't sound like a huge amount. The word greatly, I feel like, almost conflicts with the actual stat there. Alright then. Very much a calm before the next storm that will come. As these players... Now we will have the second Predator, so yeah. Man, the Dreadnought... It really did not work out very well at all. I think it could have worked out better. I think he just needed more support for it. But I do think the second Predator would have been a better choice all along. Alright, so this Predator's just going to be poking around for a little bit. Meanwhile, we are going to see a back cap attempt by Cry. Problem is, you've got a Fire Prism. paying attention to it. Pretty much as long... One of the advantages of a Fire Prism, as long as it has sight of a victory point, which it does if you own it, you can pretty much stall back caps indefinitely. Not just back caps, you can stall any caps indefinitely. So just some light skirmishing happening on both sides of the map. Generator bashing going on from Cry. He's looking to get enough red for a Rocks, I feel like it. He's still a little bit far off. But generally, that's the idea with late-game generator bashes. Raptors are in here. Oh, again, if this Warlock did have a Witchblade of Kurnos right here, it would put a lot more threat on the Raptors. Raptors, though, do not succeed even in forcing off the Devastators. I think enough damage coming out on them between the Stern Guard veterans as well as the Predator that they were forced off. So neither side really committing to a fight, a big fight just yet. Of course, the blue team doesn't need to really commit to a big fight just yet. They just need to hold their victory points. And they've invested a lot in stalling units and units that are good at holding victory points. Things like Plasma Cannon, Devastator, D-Cannon. Both of them have their firing arc covering the victory point. Bruce Campbell and Cry will not be able to just stand a unit on the point. Literally no unit that they have can just stand on the point. Not even the Terminators here, because they can be knocked off by the Devastator. They can also be pulled in by the Singularity. So Bruce and Cry need to actually commit to winning a big fight. Fire Prism did tank a las cannon shot. Needs to be careful. Really needs to get out of range. Okay, here it is. Death Roll is going in. The Battle Wagon. We also have Tank Busters unloading at this point. So the Fire Prism and the Falcon are backing up. Meanwhile, though, oh no, Skysilver a little too far ahead with his Predator. Predators will actually go down on both sides, but Skysilver is going to lose too. Yeah, I don't know. That might actually be it. That might be the big fight win that they needed, taking out both of Skysilver's Predators. The fight is still raging, though. The double cap is still being held by Skysilver and Bloodrain. So for the moment, they're going to continue to tick victory points down in their favor. But finally, we are going to have the Devastators dislodged. Here is the Rocks on top of... Oh, no! He's not getting it all the way driven out of there. He just barely managed to make it out in time, or does he? My God. Okay, one of those vehicles... Both of them go down! I thought they were actually going to get out of there, but they did. All right. Now, with that, I think that's going to be it. Oh, and now Cry is just being a bully, which is exactly what you can do with a Battle Wagon. Just going to go all the way into the base. And yeah, this game is absolutely over at this point. Eldritch Storm. I think he wiped his own squad with the Eldritch. And the Battle Wagon will just drive out. Alright, so I don't know if maybe we'll see a concede at some point, because this game is 100% over. I suppose not actually the most balanced game. Believe me, though, both Bloodrain and Skysilver are still very good players. But I also do have to kind of say, I think, got to put it on Skysilver there. A little bit greedy plays in the beginning that kind of put them behind. They held for a little bit at the end, but it ended up being too little, too late. That'll be it. Hope you enjoyed it, and have a good night.